So Brian Chu is one of the writers and producers, directors. He actually worked on it very closely with his older brother. Um, do you know of any other filmmaking families or any brothers?
Um, in documentary film, like not that I can. There's a number of examples in narrative fiction films, but I can't think of any. Uh, Family teams in documentary film. I mean, I'm sure that there must be, but none's coming to mind at the moment.
Okay. Um, of the ones that you know from the narrative films, um, historically, do they work out? Have you found like some? Is there any sort of pattern of anything negative that could come out of working with family members?
Well,
Anything positive?
uh, look, you know, whether it's a brother or just a kind of creative partner. Sometimes they work out really phenomenally, and then other times, there's creative differences. There's differences in particular agendas or whatever. So, I think the history of film or any other kind of collaborative art form is replete with examples where it works great and other examples where uh, creative partnerships fall apart.
Okay. Um, I guess the final question. They recently, I guess, either applied to submit or submitted their film into Sundance, and they were rejected. What does it take for, um, I guess, students just coming out of school, making a film, making a documentary? What does it take for them to uh, successfully be accepted into Sundance?
Well, I can't speak specifically about the uh, what criteria Sundance uses as their kind of criteria for assessment. I don't know how they assess submissions to the festival, but of course Sundance now is one of the biggest so-called independent film festivals. Obviously there's some question about whether or not Sundance is really functions in the way that it was originally designed to work.
I guess what would be? Do you have any tips for younger filmmakers?
Well, I mean, of course, aspiring to now Sundance does have a certain amount of prestige or whatnot, and so aspiring to show at Sundance is that's great. Um, but there are any number of film festivals that are occurring, not just here in the U.S. but internationally, and so thinking broadly as opposed to thinking really kind of narrowly and trying to target just Sundance, I think would actually be a mistake. There's much smaller kind of regional festivals. There's much smaller kind of festivals that focus specifically on specific genres. And there's things like this March is the Asian American Film Festival, and actually one of our current MA students is actually the director of the Asian American Film Festival, and that's like things like the Asian American Film Festival are really quite phenomenal in terms of the scope of the festival, the breadth of kind of the films that are screened, and it's really quite exciting. And so, uh, I guess the short of it being is that there's a lot of other festivals out there besides Sundance, and to kind of put your eggs in one basket is not the wisest. And targeting other film festivals, which maybe have a smaller targeted kind of audience, but ultimately are really quite good in terms of kind of career builders, or adding a line to the CV, and kind of establishing oneself as a filmmaker.